Yo, what's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to be sharing an interview that I had with one of my top clients, and actually he was my first coaching client that has implemented the Instagram patient attracting strategy, aka the IG patient funnel, and he's been implementing it for a couple of years now, and he's had great success with this. Some of you already know who he is, some of you might not know who he is. Dr. Stratton Poulson, he is a beast. He's unremarkable, right? Like, he's actually one of my best clients, and he's just someone that, one, is a very personal friend now, right? We've built a friendship, but not only that, he is someone that I learned from too as well. But he's definitely a great example of, if you actually take information that I or anybody else gives you and you actually take action on it, that you will get results, right? So I'm gonna go ahead, cut straight into the interview. If you guys enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna post more content. I'm gonna try to, obviously make it more relatable to, getting your ideal patients through the door using Instagram alone. But let's get right into the video. All right, guys. So I have the man, the GOAT, actually my very first coaching client that I've ever had, Dr. Stratton Poulson. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Hey, Shaq, I'm doing good. Always good to see you.
Nice. Good to see you too, man. Dude, tatted up, right?
It's the look, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for those of you who are gonna judge, listen, you got to be yourself, man. Like, don't be so uptight, right? But no, yeah, man. Dude, I wanted to, of course, like, come on here and just interview you, man, because, dude, you just been having so much success, ever since we worked with each other. And of course, like, I'm not taking any credit away from you, right? Like, you definitely have taken the strategy to the next level when it comes to growing your practice in general using Instagram, right? Like, you don't really do that much of like networking in person, anything like that. Like, the majority of your business is from Instagram, and that's crazy. And it's still going. It's been like, what, 2 years, right?
Yeah, I've been in practice for 2.5 years
Mm,
and still haven't ever done a spinal screening, a health fair talk, a lunch and learn, anything like that. All
mm.
I do is social media marketing, expanded from Instagram onto TikTok also, and then now YouTube. But yeah, it's just been wild. I mean, I'm still getting, roughly 50 plus new patients every month, even on slow months, just from social media. So, I mean, you really couldn't ask for anything better than that.
But what was the problem that you actually had prior to joining the IG patient funnel program?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big issues was that, like, obviously I used Instagram just as a user. Like, I was, looking at photos and stuff with friends and like that, but I didn't know really how to use social for business yet. And so I thought originally, okay, why don't I try Facebook ads? And so we had done, like, the photo ads with, text and stuff, and we were running like lead form ads. I was working with someone else before you, and it just really wasn't working. Like, the lead form ads, they just don't seem to work very well. I would call patients, they wouldn't remember having filled out a form, or they'd be upset that I called them if they even answered at all, right? You just keep
Mm.
getting voicemails and stuff. And so it just wasn't working. And so I was spending a lot of money to get leads, and the leads were poor quality. And I was just about to give up on it and do the same thing that all the other docs do, which is, well, social media marketing doesn't work. Because I tried Facebook, I didn't do it very well, and I had just had it up to here. I remember when you reached out to me, I was like, look, man, I just got burned. I just spent like 2 grand on some other consultant. It didn't work out at all. I'm really not trying to do this. And one of the things that moved the needle for me is you basically were like, well, all right, hold on. Let me get on a call with you, give you some free value. And if you like what I have to say, we can talk about maybe working together in the future. And you gave me so much value on that call. I think I remember asking you for your Venmo, and I sent you some money after that call just to pay you for your time.
Mm.
And then we started working together. And so the strategy that you taught, first of all, like, the value you gave me on our free call was enough that I started to implement things and started to see some new patients come in. It wasn't a lot, maybe like 4 or 5 new patients,
Mm.
but that was enough for me to be like, okay, I made this tiny change and we got some new patients from it. Now let's see, what's up with the rest of this. And so um, the biggest thing was that it was working immediately, and it seemed to make sense, right? Rather than trying to get someone to give you their email and phone number, which people don't want to do, and disrupting their scroll, we're just meeting them where they're at. Like, when we get that engagement, we're then following up on the engagement. And so that paradigm made sense to me. And when I saw it start working, even without running the full strategy at all, I was like, all right, there's definitely something to this. I need to pay Shaq and and figure out the rest of this.
Yeah. Well, dude, there's a couple of things that you said that I want to highlight to everyone too. Is one, you said when you worked with other companies, the quality of the leads, and that's something that I always talk about. When it comes to these other marketing agencies, and I'm not knocking on them. I mean, there are some that do a great job, but typically when you do run that kind of strategy, the leads are not necessarily as warm as if you're getting them with the IG patient funnel because one, they're landing on your profile, they're going through your content, they're getting familiar with you. And then when you double that with reaching out to them and having a conversation with them individually, you have a much tighter relationship versus, somebody just putting in their email, name, phone number, and then they don't talk to you or have a conversation with you at all, right? So that's one thing that I could say about this strategy that I've heard from you and other people is they said that the quality of patients is a lot higher.
Saying that, it made me think of the other thing that happened with that other consultant was, when I opened, my prices were way cheaper than they are now, right? It was like my first visit was like $80. When I first opened, I think the first visit was like $40 or something. I mean, it's like dirt cheap. And so
Mhm.
when the lead forms weren't working or the quality was low on those leads, that person I was working with was like, well, I still think your price point is too high. We should come down to like something like a $29 or something. I think he wanted me literally at like $29 for
Yeah.
the first visit, basically to be like the cheapest chiropractor in the area to
Mm.
get more leads. He's like, well, your offer is not strong enough. And I was like, dude, that's not it. This is just not fucking working. Whether it's the copy, the creative, like, the creative was just a photo. The copy was like generic, like salesy, sales letter type copy. It
Yeah.
didn't resonate with people. And then the offer, it was already $40 for your first visit. It was like, oh yeah, $29. So $11 is going to be the difference between this. Is like, this is no, the whole thing is just not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you told me when we first started working together, you're like, I think your offer is too low. You're like, I think that your first visit is too low. It's too
Yeah.
cheap, And that was one of the first things that you said to me. And I was like, well, let's just try it. Let's get some patients at the door and then we'll raise the price. And
Yeah.
you were spot on. You were spot on. It was just the strategy was not working.
Yeah, 100%. And what tends to happen too is when you do those new patient specials at $21, $29, yeah, you might get tons of people to buy and I mean, you might be able to close a percentage of them, but look at how much time you wasted. And
Hmm.
two as well, like I mean, those people usually like they're price buyers or they're not serious about really getting into chiropractic and like signing up for care plans and actually continuing, right? But when you have a high price, right, and somebody's willing to pay that, it's just like, what we do with how would I say it? I can't give an example, but like anything that you pay a higher price with, you take it more serious. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah. You're
Right?
pre-qualifying your leads,
Yeah.
you're pre-qualifying those potential patients to make sure. And the other thing too is like the reason, and I do this, is my first visit costs the same amount as a follow-up cash pay. If they want to do packages, they can go cheaper from there. But
Right.
my concept there is if they can afford it once, they can afford it twice, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
so, the problem that you run into with the new patient special where first visit is lower than follow-ups is you get that ratio backwards. So if they can afford 40, you don't actually know if they can afford 80 on follow-ups, right? So if you're not going to come in at 40 and then maintain 40, then you
Yeah.
don't know. Now that is the argument for, let's say, your $250 first visit, follow-ups are 50 or follow-ups are 70, right?
Mhm.
Well, if they can afford 250, they can afford their
Oh
follow-up. So
yeah.
that's another argument for going higher, but I like to
Mhm.
keep it the same, right? You come and see me, it's going to cost you $80 no matter how you slice it. It's going to cost you $80. If you want it to be cheaper, you can buy packages.
Why did you choose to join the IG patient funnel program compared to any other program specifically? I know you kind of went over that a little bit, but just dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of the reason I chose to sign up with you was just the relationship that we had formed, and when we were talking about strategy, everything that you were saying was making sense. When I was implementing parts of the strategy, everything that I implemented continued to improve my results, and so it was kind of a no-brainer that okay, if a little bit of this is working, then more of it will work more. And so every part of the strategy that you taught me I started to implement and I started to see more and more success and higher new patient numbers and higher quality of leads. And by the end of it, after implementing everything stepwise, each step I saw increasing success with. And so, for me, it was a no-brainer because it's like, why would you stop something or not do something when you're watching it work? And
Yes.
especially because even just the value you gave me in that free call got me some results. And so I was like, all right, well, this is already working better than the guy I just paid 2 grand to. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like let's go ahead and investigate this further.
Yeah. And you just reminded me of the second thing that I was thinking about that I forgot too as well, right? If you guys of course like want to get value and you want to really learn the strategy for free, I made a new video that I literally have the link in my bio on Instagram. If you want it, I can also send it to you as well. Just reach out to me. And it'll literally like break down the full strategy for you, right? Because Dr. Stratton knows, right? Like I like giving value first and I'm upfront about I'm like, hey, look, if you like it, then let's talk. If you don't and you go and try to implement it yourself, then go do it. Right. Like I don't care what you do. Like I've actually had people do that and didn't pay me anything and they got results and I'm happy for them. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just all about giving value, man. But that's the thing that you reminded me. So thank you.
I feel like you run into people who um, just kind of need a direction. So you're like, you're going to do this, this, and this. This is the concept, and that's how you follow up, right?
Right.
They can take that and run with it. But then you have other people who are maybe a little bit less confident, a little bit less tech savvy. And it's the technical aspect of, okay, well, how do you actually analyze what's going to be your best performing ad? How do
Right.
we actually tweak ad spend, the days? How are we testing ads, getting the algorithm to learn who to deliver our stuff to? All that
Mhm.
technical aspect was very valuable. And that's some of the stuff that you teach, in your actual program versus just like, okay, here's the general outline of the strategy. So,
Mhm.
if you're someone who's pretty tech savvy or you're pretty like, with it, sure, you could probably get the general outline of the concept and then go do it on your own. But it's that technical details and that aspect of really getting a step-by-step guide through every part of the process that
Mhm.
was very beneficial for actually joining the program.
Another question for you, man. As a result of course, implementing the IG patient funnel, what was the outcome and how has it made your life different?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you this all the time. I thank you so much because it's completely changed my life. I mean, when I opened the practice, I was struggling to make like 5 grand and pay off the overhead a month. And it's like I had my first month open and I had basically gone through like asked all my friends and family, everyone I knew, to come in and try the practice out. So I had like
Mhm.
17 patients my first month open, and I was only open for like the back half of that month. So it was like, oh, okay, awesome. But then the following month, after all that tapered off, I think I had like 12 new patients. And then the following month, I had even fewer. I think I had like 8. And I was like, oh shit, this is going the wrong direction. I thought it was going to go 17, 25, 30, and it went 17, 12, 8. And I was like, all right, but yeah, I mean, the since implementing the strategy and getting to the point where I'm getting these very high new patient numbers, very high revenue, it's taken me. I went up from 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 15,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 25,000 a month. Now I've had $30,000 months, on
Yeah.
that same very low overhead, and so it's completely changed my life. I mean, how long it would have taken me to build a practice the old-fashioned way and get to the point where I was even taking home 6 figures or anything like that would have taken a long time. And my very first year in practice, I cleared multiple 6 figures, off the strategy, and the second year, even more. And so it's changed my entire life. It's put me in a new tax bracket. It's given me, the ability to do things I never thought I'd be able to do.
Mhm.
And I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful that I ended up not telling you to fuck off, even though I was upset with that other consultant, and that I actually did it because everything has come from that. In running the strategy was, just to get more patients. It was just so that I didn't have to declare bankruptcy and fail my business, right?
Right.
But the side effect of that is now, we're low key Instagram famous. Now we're low key YouTube famous. Over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, creeping up on 200,000 on Instagram, and so like the social media platform success and the opportunities that that's given me also are all a result of what I was working on, which was just the strategy to get new patients. So a lot of people, I feel like they think the organic comes first. So you get 100,000 followers and then you have a thriving practice. And for me, it was the opposite. My practice was doing awesome way before social was even above 10K.
Yeah.
Um, and so it really is the result of putting out consistent content, running my ads to build my practice. And the side effect of that was this organic growth from some of those videos popping off and then becoming more popular. So now it's where, people fly from Canada and Mexico and all over to come see me.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
been a wild ride.
Dude, and that's I'm glad that you brought that because people do get that backwards. They're like, yeah, I need 100K followers before I'm even able to sell my services. Like, no, dude, you need to make money now. Like,
Yeah.
or else you're gonna go out of business. The follower count is a vanity number at the end of the day. Like, it really
Yes.
doesn't matter. What matters is are you growing your business? Are you getting patients through the door? Right. Like you said, before you even hit 10K, you were very successful with the strategy. right? And there's people that are in the program that only have like 1,000. And I mean, they're making anywhere from 15 to 20K a month with the strategy, right? So, this is obviously another testimony that you don't have to have a bunch of followers to be successful on Instagram, right? You can
Yeah.
start off low. And then, like you said, the byproduct of you continuously doing it is organic growth, right? You look up a year, 2, 3 years, and you went from 500 followers to maybe 2, 3K, 5K. And if you're lucky, higher numbers, right? That's just kind of like the byproduct of it. So yeah, man, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's a huge point. Where do you think that you would be right now if you didn't join the IG patient funnel?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think because of how discouraged I was with the way that things were going,
Mhm.
I may have continued to try and make content, but I was definitely in that organic mindset. Before we started focusing on the paid ads and stuff, especially after the paid ads didn't work for me before, I was like,
Mhm.
all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to just make these videos and try and go viral organically, which we both know is much harder. It's much harder to just get patients out of your organic content than it is with ads.
Yeah.
And so I think that I probably would have done that for a while and gotten really frustrated with it and then probably given up because the motivation for the consistency is seeing new patients and seeing revenue increases and having the practice be successful. That gave me the motivation to continue to film and to continue to do everything that you have to do to make the content strategy successful. And so I feel like, and there's a lot of things that you learn along the way. Like I wouldn't have been motivated to improve my lighting in the office. I just did $10,000 office redesign so that my office looks nicer, which helps in person, but it's
Hmm.
also designed to make my office look more attractive and more visually distinct on camera.
Right.
And all those things, increased camera quality, better lighting, office redesign, a lot of those things probably would have never happened if it wasn't for joining and doing the strategy. And I probably would have been spending a lot more time trying to do more traditional marketing methods,
Yeah.
going and giving health talks and spinal screenings. And, imagine how much of my free time that would have ate up trying to go do these things just to get a few new patients.
Yeah.
It's really a slog. That was my favorite part about it is once the strategy started working, I mean, I would wake up after going to bed with like 3 or 4 new patient booking emails on my phone. So it's like I'm asleep and overnight patients are booking, right? Instead of me busting my ass at the farmer's market trying to get a few patients. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I don't know where I'd be, but I can tell you I've only been in practice for 2.5 years and it certainly wouldn't be like this. I don't think. I really don't think that it would be the way that it is now, um, without it.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that actually feel like what you said you would be like if you didn't join the program, right? Like they feel like they've tried so many things and it just didn't work. And they're out there busting their butt every single day, which I'm not gonna discourage you. Like if you want to go do that stuff, like you can still go do that stuff. I have a client that is still doing that stuff and we're using Instagram and it kind of just works together because people are seeing his ads and then they see him out in the field and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy that's on Instagram, right?" So it makes it a lot easier. But obviously, like it can work for you for the point to where like you don't have to be out there in the field, right? Like you don't want to work hard, you want to work smart, right? So
100%.
yeah,
And that's what the strategy gives you. The Instagram strategy gives you leverage, right? You
yeah,
have the ability to access more people in your local area than you would ever be able to with these in-person events, final screenings, health fairs, lunch and learns. It's always the joke that I say is like, okay, how many spinal screenings do you have to give before 20,000 people in your town know that you exist?
yeah.
It's a fuck ton of spinal screenings. But you can run an ad and you can run that ad over a series of, a couple of months. And now, 20,000 people in your area know that you exist. And so it really is a huge, huge help.
Right. 100%, man, for sure. And then last question, man, I just want to ask you because, this is probably going to be the most important one out of all of this. If there's anyone watching this, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be, right, who is like on the fence about joining the IG patient funnel program, like what would you tell them?
I would say just do it. Just pull the trigger. One of the big things when you're on the fence, you either kind of have two objections. Is one, it's a money objection. You're just trying to figure out how you're going to even be able to afford it. Or two, it's a trust objection. You're like, how do I know that this is going to be worth it? Right? Like, it's unbelievably worth it. And I still, you know, shout you out all the time when I'm on podcasts or everything. People ask me how I did it. It's like I learned the strategy from Shaq. I took it, I ran with it, and my life has completely changed. So, if it's a trust thing, Shaq is a good dude. You're a good dude, man. I would swear up and down by you. You know, I consider you a personal friend at this point.
Oh yeah.
He's not going to take advantage of you. He's not going to take your money. He's going to teach you everything that he knows, and then he's going to help you troubleshoot if things aren't working for you. You know, I've watched you through our Instagram Cairo group where we're in a group chat together with all the other Kairos who are involved in this. I watch you troubleshoot and work through problems that people are having all day, whether it's like a video got, wasn't eligible for advertising, or, well, should I include trending audio? Should I not? Like all these problems, you help people work through it live. So it's not like pay for my course, watch my content, goodbye, good luck.
Yeah.
So it's very much involved. You're very much like there to support. Um, and then yeah, it's either money or trust. And the money thing is like, okay, if you're going to save a couple $1,000s or whatever it is by not signing up for the course, how are you going to spend that money to improve your business? Right? Are you going to put it into something else? If you're going to put it into something else and you have no coaching for your ads, then, how, like if I was just running ads on my own, which I did, I spent like $2,000 on this coach before you. And then I spent a couple $1,000s on the ads and I got nothing out of it. So I'm now like 5 grand in the hole. So it's like, how many ads do you need to run and how much money do you need to waste before you're ready to learn the correct way to run your ads? And so for me, it's like, yeah, it may be hard to come up with that money right now, especially if you're brand new into practice or you just graduated. But that money is going to pay back. I mean, the money that I paid you, Shaq, is not even a drop in the bucket. I would spend that on dinner now, right? Like for how much revenue has grown and how much my practice has grown, that money is almost like nothing from what I paid you to sign up and get into the program. And so looking back, it's like that is the best investment I've ever made. I mean, every single dollar I paid you has paid me thousands of dollars back. So, if it was me telling people, I was like, do it, take out a loan, put it on your credit card, mortgage your house, do it, throw some money behind get into the program, throw some money behind your ads and start watching patients come in and watch how it changes your life. It really has been tremendous. And what's cool is it's been tremendous for me, but now I've been in the group long enough that I'm watching other docs who've come in behind me that were struggling starting to see success with the program. I had a doc message me, I think today, who's also in the program. I won't name him, but he was like, "Hey, dude, I just wanted to let you know, using you in Strack strategy and with your help, I just had my first $20,000 revenue month." And I was like, fuck
That's
yeah, dude. Now you're
great.
rocking and rolling, right?
Yeah.
And so, some of the people that are watching this are on the fence. Maybe you have a good practice. Maybe your practice is doing 20,000 in revenue, but if you could bring in an extra 10, 20, 30, 40 patients a month, like could that $20,000 month be a $40,000 month for you? Could it be a $60,000 month for you? And if you're just starting a practice and you're struggling to get the bills paid, imagine what it would be like to double your business and have actually some take home, right? To not have to stress about any of the bills in your office, any of the bills at home, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
It's if it's about trust, Shaq's a good dude. He's not going to screw you over. And if it's about money, you couldn't spend your money on anything better.
Hey, I appreciate that a lot, man. And yeah, dude, I consider you as a long-term friend now too, because and also as well, man, like you're helping people in the chat too as well, right? So I see you in there. And honestly, there's a lot of people that are starting to help each other out. And that's what I love about the community too, as well. Is that we're all trying to see each other grow and get to the next level, right? So I
And
appreciate you for doing that too.
the chat's super valuable. Like there's stuff that I didn't know that I learned from other people who came in way after me into the chat, like about targeting, the fact that you can target professions and stuff like that. Like that's stuff that I didn't know. I went back into the Meta Business Suite and I was like, oh, I'll be damned, you sure can. And with the way that things are changing on all the platforms constantly, someone noticing something and then bringing it to the group's attention helps us all get better. And so I've learned a ton from the group, um, you know, even just from people who've come in even recently.
Right. Yeah. Me too. I always like to tell people I feel like I learn more from my clients than I do from like them learning from me. So I'm always trying to learn, man. And I'm just glad that everybody's trying to help each other. But yeah, so dude, that's it. Thank you so much for the interview, guys. You heard what the man said, I'm trustworthy, right? I'm not gonna steal your money from you, right? But I am understandable. Like, obviously, if you're in a position financially, I don't want you to be in a position. But if you like everything that you heard Dr. Stratton talk about and you want to see if I could potentially help you, then I'm going to put a link below this video to book a no strings attached call with me, and I will give you value. You've literally heard it from the horse's mouth on that call. And if I feel like I can help you, then I'll literally show you the next step. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's end this. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. And is there anything that you want to tell the people?
No, just sign up, guys. You're waiting too long.
Yeah, you're waiting too long right now. Like you should have already booked, right?
Yo, why are you still watching the video? You should have clicked. You should have
Yeah.
clicked. Click it. Click the link.
All righty, man. All right. See y'all. Take care.
All right, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed that interview. Like I said, Dr. Stratton is an absolute beast, and he is someone that literally from the get-go, like I said, he was my very first coaching client. That as soon as he started implementing the IG patient funnel, he just started crushing it, right? But if you're someone that has been looking for a way to actually expand on your social media, especially Instagram, and you want to get more of your ideal patients through the door using Instagram alone, then what I actually want to do is I want to invite you onto a no strings attached discovery call. Okay, so I'm gonna put a link below this video. Literally, all you have to do is click it, find a day and time that works best for you, and then book. Okay. Side note, if you book this call, okay, I'm gonna actually give you something for free that, I wasn't really thinking about giving for free in the first place, to be honest with you, but I wanna give as much value as I possibly can outside of the call. So I'm gonna give you the 50K content vault that I give to all of my clients when it comes to creating and posting content that will attract your ideal clients. Okay, so it's a content list that you'll get from me for free. That way you can go ahead and get started with creating content and putting it on your Instagram page, and it actually be converting followers into new patients over time. Okay, so don't waste time. Okay, click that link, book the call with me, and yeah, I'll see you then.